from the deserts of Egypt to the jungles of the Maya, from the marble temples of Greece to the misty groves of the Celts, there is one tiny creature that has walked beside humanity through the rise and fall of empires: the bee. Not just a bringer of honey, but a messenger of the gods, a keeper of royal secrets, a silent witness to the birth of civilizations. In their hum, ancient people heard prophecy. In their honey, they found healing and even death. Today, we journey through forgotten tombs, sacred temples, and ancient scrolls to uncover the golden thread that binds the story of humankind to the wings of the bee. Number 1. The bee as a symbol of royalty in ancient Egypt. In the golden sense of ancient Egypt, the bee was more than an insect. It was the beating heart of royal authority. Pharaohs wore the title, "He of the Sedge and the Bee," a divine declaration that they ruled both Upper and Lower Egypt. The bee symbolized harmony between the two lands, industry, and the sacred order of the cosmos. Engraved on palace walls and temple pillars, the bee stood as an eternal reminder. The pharaoh's power was as sweet as honey, yet as sharp as a sting to those who defied it. Number 2. Honey in the tombs of the pharaohs. When archaeologists cracked open the tombs of a pharaoh, they found a sealed alabaster jars of honey, over 3,000 years old, still golden, still sweet, still perfect. The Egyptians believed honey was a fragment of the sun's essence, a food that never spoiled, just as the soul never truly dies. It was placed beside the dead, so their journey into the afterlife would be guided by sweetness, not sorrow. Number 3. The Minoan bee goddess of Crete. Long before Greece rose to glory, the Minoans of Crete worshipped a mysterious goddess with the body of a woman and the spirit of a bee. In sacred figurines, she stood with arms raised, bees circling her like living jewels. To them, bees were messengers between worlds, carrying prayers to the heavens and returning with divine blessings. Her temples rang with hum of hives, the air thick with perfume of wild thyme. Number 4. Bees in ancient Sumerian medicine. On clay tablets pressed by the hands of Sumerian scribes, the first written medical text described honey as a sacred healer. Mixed with crushed herbs, it was spread over wounds, soothing pain, sealing the skin, and protecting it from decay. They didn't yet know the science that honey kills bacteria and draws out infection, but they knew it worked. They called it the nectar of the gods' mercy. Number 5. Mayan honey and the sacred stingless bee. Deep in the tropical jungles of the Yucatan, the Maya kept Melipona bichei, a gentle, stingless bee they named Lady Bee. Her honey was thin, floral, and unlike any other on earth. It was used in offerings to the gods, in healing potions, and as payment for trade. The Maya believed these bees were a divine gift, and harming one was an offense against the sky itself. Number 6. The bee as a messenger in Greek mythology. To the ancient Greeks, bees were more than creatures of the earth. They were oracles in miniature. The priestesses of Delphi, who spoke the words of Apollo, were sometimes called Melisae, which means bees. Legends told of sacred bees on Mount Parnassus, who gifted the oracle her power by feeding her divine honey. In their myths, to taste this honey was to see the future and hear the gods whisper. Number 7. The Bronze Age bee amulets for protection. Across the lands of the Bronze Age, tiny golden amulets shaped like bees were buried with the dead and worn around the necks of the living. These charms were thought to guard against curses, bring fertility, and ensure a bountiful harvest. To carry a bee in gold was to carry a spark of the sun and a promise of abundance. Number 8. Bees and the Hindu god Vishnu. In the sacred art of ancient India, a tiny bee is often seen resting on the forehead of Vishnu, the preserver of life. In Sanskrit poetry, the soul is compared to a bee drinking the nectar of truth, wandering from flower to flower in search of ultimate wisdom. Bees appear alongside Krishna and Kama, symbols of love's sweetness and the eternal longing of the spirit. Number 9. Honey as an ancient weapon. Not all honey brought blessings. In 401 BC, Greek soldiers marching through Colchis feasted on honey from wild hives pollinated by rhododendron. Hours later, they stumbled, vomited, and collapsed, victims of its natural toxins. Ancient warriors learned to use this mad honey to poison invaders, turning the bee's golden gift into a silent, invisible weapon. Number 10. The bee language in Celtic Druids lore. In the misty groves of the ancient Celts, Druids spoke of a hidden language of bees, a hum so deep and ancient it carried the wisdom of the other world. They believed bees moved between realms as easily as they moved between flowers, bringing secrets from the spirit world in their wings and whispers. Number 11. Roman beekeeping as a high art. The Romans raised beekeeping to perfection. They built terracotta hives, studied the seasons, and even moved hives to better fields like nomadic shepherds of nectar. In his Georgics, the poet Virgil praised the bee as the perfect citizen, tireless, loyal to its queen, and always working for the good of the hive. To Rome, the bee was the living example of a disciplined, harmonious empire. Number 12. Honey in ancient funeral rites. From Babylon to Macedonia, honey was used to preserve the dead. The body of Alexander the Great was said to be transported in a coffin filled with honey, sealing it against decay. In these ancient minds, honey was more than a preservative. It was the golden bridge between life and eternity, keeping the soul sweet for its journey into the unknown. Long before we built cities, we followed the bees. They taught us how to work together, how to serve something greater than ourselves, and how to taste the sweetness hidden in life's fleeting blossoms. To the ancient, the bee was not just an insect. It was a bridge between worlds, a whisper of the divine, a reminder that even smallest creature can shape the fate of kings and empires. And though their temples have crumbled and their empires turned to dust, the bee still flies, still hums, still carries in her wings the memory of every civilization she has ever touched.